Men and women who goon. That's right. I'm back. You all thought I wouldn't do it. About 6 months ago, I did a first part of this video, or a first iteration, where took the first 7 months of the year, went through my anime list, and then kind of went over what I watched, what score I gave them, and talked about them, riffed, cracked wise. And in normal concluded style, you would be right to assume that he said he was gonna do another video, but he's a liar and wouldn't do it. But I'm doing it because because it is. I like filming videos, but to find the time to sit down and do it, if I do that, then where am I gonna find the time to crank my hog? Anyway, getting into the video, I think last 7 months ago, I ended at either actually first I last year, not last year, fuck, I only make videos once every fucking 2.5 years. So the last time I made a video, I had my iPad, which I still do. But last time, what I was doing, because I would screenshot my anime list, and then I would shit it on my Instagram story, and I would get 7 billion likes and follows every single time. It's crazy how much ad revenue you get from a single Instagram story. Obviously, I'm lying. But though, because it was screenshots, I just had it in the cloud or whatever, and it would go to my iPad from my phone to my iPad, and then I just looked at the screenshots, and I was like, and then I watched Sonic X. But this time, I realized, hey, it's an iPad, and I could just get the My Anime List app on that too. So I did, but before I start, I want to show you. Look how fucking small it is, and this is the zoomed in version. They were like, no fucking redskin jabroni is gonna download the app on their iPad and make a video out of it. That would be fucking stupid. But I mean, it works exactly like it does on the phone, so I stay winning. But last time I made a video, I almost said last year again. Last time, I think I ended at Windbreaker, which I gave a 6 star, and I remember saying jack shit about it. It was such a nothing show where it's just it's a boys in high school that love to beat each other up, and I was like, hell yeah, 6 stars. That's what I'm talking about. And if I didn't stop at that, I stopped at Kaiju number 8. But I have a vague memory, a recollection of sorts that I said in that video, like, I'm gonna I'm gonna be done Kaiju 8, but I'm not yet. But I am done it now, and I gave it Kaiju 8 out of 10 stars. I gave it out of 10 stars. Kaiju number 8. I remember we're in an era now where manga that I have read that I am in on the ground floor of are getting animated releases, which is really, I don't know why it intrigues me so much. I guess it's just a sign that I'm getting older and I can be there for chapter 1 and then see it down the line get an anime. Kaiju number 8. I know I didn't read it on chapter 1. I'm a liar. I'm lying to your face, but I'm pretty sure, when I read it, there must have been less than 20 chapters. So then now, I've read it for a couple of years. I'm still reading it as it comes out. But they did 12 episodes of Kaiju number 8, which to me is surprising, especially because, no, I know they did the 12 episodes this year, early in the year, and then I know there's a movie coming out that's just hey, here's what happened in season 1. With a couple new scenes, I think. I don't know. I'm not going to watch that. And then I don't know when season 2 is coming out. Ideally, as soon as possible, because whenever a show like this is 12 episodes, it's really not enough to get your wiener hard for. Because it doesn't help that this was the beginning of the year, and it extra doesn't help that I have read Kaiju number 8. So you'd think any part of my teeny tiny little brain would be hey man, here's the plot and the lore of Kaiju number 8. But it went in one eye, out the other. That's the expression. Where main guy is did I talk about this in the other video? Fuck. I'm in too deep. Main guy is a garbage man, and then one day he's big chillin', and he gets a worm goes down his throat, I think. He swallows a little baby kaiju, and that gives him a magical girl transformation into a kaiju man. So then he's like, there's antics of him like hiding, being a monster man while like he's part of the monster cops. Like, oh man, it's always been one of my dreams to like join the monster cops with my girlfriend, but I was such a soy beta cuck that I had to be a garbage man. I had to be the janitor. But then he gets infected, and then he like finally gets in, or he was already in, and then he also gets this. I don't remember exactly. Um, the only person that knows is his like roommate slash best friend slash protege slash boyfriend, who is like, we fucking can't tell anyone. They're gonna like dissect you, and like they're gonna fucking like cut you open to see what's what. So like that's the first bit, is them hiding it, and then I think by the spoilers, at the end of the fucking show, they, is him like, he has to like bust it out to save one of his friends, and the only way we can save her is like by like revealing that he's a kaiju, and then they do take him, and they're like, well, you're a kaiju, so you're evil, but like we're gonna run some tests, and then I think it ends right at a point in the manga where like all his buddies are like, shit sucks. Kafka's probably fucking dead. Uh, let's go train to be better soldiers. And then Kafka slash Mr. Kaiju number 8 is put through like secret private training with like the head bitch. I gave it 8 stars because like it's an action series, so you want it to look good. It's always a shame when an action series looks like piss and shit, but it looked pretty good. Excuse me. My main problem, man, I gave it an 8, which is a great score, and I'm like, which fucking sucks dick, is that 12 episodes is not enough. Like, it's like so little. That must be like, just that must be the first 20 chapters that I was talking about. Maybe that might be wrong. I don't know, but like, it's like such a small portion of the beginning to like. I guess it's nice to be left wanting more. And if season 2 is next year, which I don't know, I didn't look that up to make sure. I know the movie is, so I guess if people loved season 1 so much, instead of rewatching it, they can go watch a shit fuck ass movie. Um, I'll move on because I clearly don't have a lot to say about this, even though it's been 7 minutes of me talking about it straight. Then the next thing that I watched, another 8 star, which seems like maybe I should have given it 9 based on my memory of it, is Bleach: The Thousand-Year Blood War, which is the final arc of Bleach that for years, for some reason, just didn't get adapted. I remember I was still young. I was like 14, I think, and I like was hanging out with my cousins, and they're like, "Hey, dude, Bleach is over," and I was like, "No, it's not," and they're like, "Yeah, it is," and I was like, "No, it's not." And they're like, "No, dude, it is." And I'm like, "I fucking read it every single week. It's not over." And they're like, well, "The anime's over." And then they ended the anime one arc short of like the ending. Um, so then I don't know how long it's been. I think this says the first part was from 2022. So I assume that uh, that's like 9 years. Like because I remember being 14. So if the anime ended then, it would have been like 2012, 2013. So yeah, a decade later, they were like, let's bring it back with way better visuals. Maybe I docked some points because they replaced a bunch of the voice cast. Like, I don't know if a bunch of people like quit voice acting. I know the one guy got some like allegations, so they recast him with Todd Haberkorn. Um, but then other people, like, I remember there's a character that's like Shinji Hirako, who's like one of the captains of the like main homies in the series. He was voiced by Roger Craig Smith, aka Sonic the Hedgehog, aka Ezio Askreed, and he was just doing his Roger Craig Smith voice, but he like played the character so well, and then he was recast with Alex Lee, and Alex Lee is a pretty good voice actor, but I think personally, I can like if you're me, and perhaps others, you're like, where's Roger Craig Smith though? Where is he? He was so good, and now it's Alex Lee. Not that Alex Lee's bad. I just like it's hard to it's the same if like any characters are recast. Although the one character, uh, Ikaku, was recast with Todd Haberkorn, and there's virtually like no difference. He sounds exactly like the old guy still. So, but yeah, I guess it's hard to find someone that sounds exactly like Sonic the Hedgehog. I gave it 8 stars. I remember part one because there's 3 parts now. They were doing it. They're calling it Coors, like the beer. No, where it's like this was Core One, then there's Core Two, then there's Core Three, and then they just announced Core Four, and Core. I'm getting fucked up because this I'm reading. I watched Core Two right after Core One. Part One was 2022. This is Part Two was 2023, and then I guess Part Three was this year. So then Part Four must be next year. But I genuinely thought that Part Two and Three were this year. Maybe that's just because I watched it this year and I'm a fool. I'm a dumbass. Um, the only thing that like really sticks out to me from Part One is that like one of the things that like it makes your jaw hit the floor, and your pee pee hard when you watch Bleach is in the power system of Bleach. There's these, they got swords, and then they make the swords magic by saying Bankai, and it's always like a like let's go moment when a character unveils their Bankai. So there's this character, the head captain, and he's like the main leader guy of all the homies, and then he does his Bankai, and like holy shit, was it like it was fucking cool in the manga because Tite Kubo is like one of the goats, but like it's not way cooler. I was about to go, oh, it's way better in the anime. No, it's equally as cool in the anime where they bust out this like crazy fucking epic looking CG, um, for like I can't even describe his real ability, but at one point he like summons a bunch of skeletons, and like there's fire everywhere, and it's this like beautiful CG effects. Oh my god, that's what I say to Yamamoto's Bankai. And then right after that, I watched Bleach. I don't know what this stands for. It says so. The first part it says because my anime list, uh, God forbid they just have the English titles. So it says Bleach, Sennen Kessenhen for Bleach the Thousand Year Blood War, and then part two it says Bleach Sennen Kessenhen Ketsu Betsutan. I'm going to assume that just means part two because I don't remember when I watched it. It's saying like something special. It just said like season two. So I'm going to assume Ketsu Betsutan means two. I don't know. I gave that one an 8 too, although it was definitely. Actually, no, I'm reconciling my thoughts here. Where like part one, the coolest part was the Yamamoto Bankai thing, which was at the end anyway. But then part two, I remember they cover a lot like in a short amount of time, which is like I remember I saw a visual on Reddit that was like, um, part one covered this many chapters, part two covered this many chapters, part three covered like, and it was all like it was like 60, 60, 40, and then part four is going to cover 25 chapters, which is crazy. um Presumably in part two they've added some backstory. Tite Kubo was like dying of turbo cancer when he was writing the end of Bleach, so like a lot of shit just like got left on the cutting room floor, or was like expanded upon in the sequel novels, Can't Fear Your Own World, or like I know he has a website, like a fan site where you can like sign up and be like Tite Sensei or Kubo Sensei. What did would this scene mean? And he'll like answer Q&A shit. And then that like for international fans, they'll like translate it and put it on the Reddit. So I've seen a couple of those. Although sometimes it's like shit that doesn't matter. Like how tall is the kid captain? And it's like not tall. He's a kid. And it's like someone someone not only wasted time asking this shit, but also like he wasted his own time answering it. Great. Like we could have like gotten answers for like cool shit. Like why didn't this happen? I don't know. I don't have a really example. I'm just being a bitch. Um, but like I remember one of like the biggest reveals happens in part two, and I remember it being pretty satisfying. Um, I don't really want to like spoil a lot, but also am I really going to be like you gotta check it out because you do like it's a Bleach final arc, but like I guess I'm in my the gatekeeper in my soul is like are there people that are gonna just watch this one, which like it's awesome, it's awesome and beautiful, but uh I like it's basically like skipping to episode 600. I don't know how long Bleach actually is, but I know there's like 700 chapters, so it's like skipping to episode like 500. Like it's crazy. If anyone's doing that, but like good for them, I guess. Um, but yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just move on to the next thing on the list. Eden Zero, which was the not follow up. It was the next series that was done by the guy who made Rave Master and Fairy Tail. And obviously, we all love Fairy Tail. It's the best. The author is so horny. The girls, and the men, they're always, the guys got their pussies out, the chicks got their tits out. It's the best. Except most people hate that, and they like really shit on the series. I would give Fairy Tail's like a total like B tier series, or like it's kind of like junk food of like, oh yeah, oh it's like, it's basically how people already like talk about Battle Shonen, where like it's just dumb fun action. Don't put too much. Don't think about it. Just look at the screen and go yippee. Which like that's kind of how I feel about Fairy Tail. Where like I like it, and I even like don't dislike many characters. Uh, and I'm a gooner, so I love the horny shit. I know there is an anti-gooner agenda on Reddit. That pisses a lot of people off, where they're like, the girl's boobs are too big and that guy's too muscular. Actually, it's usually the girl's one. They don't bring up the dude thing. Uh, but he made Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail ended, and then almost instantly, I think, like it was not that long that he was like, I'm making a new manga called Eden Zero, and I was like, oh cool. And Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, it's like a fantasy setting, magic. Eden Zero takes the opposite approach, where it's set in like space, and is sci-fi, and I give it 7 stars. It's interesting to like, because this was like 6 months ago now. It's just 25 episodes, so no, excuse me. I guess that can't be too much. I know it did cover a part that I loved in the manga, where, excuse me, I'm fucking tweaking. I'm dying. Excuse me. Holy shit. That like there's a part where a bunch of girls get kidnapped and like trafficked, and like there's this creepy frog alien guy who's like, he covers them in goo and like melts away all their clothes, and then he turns them into, well, first he like, makes them his slaves and does like unspeakable horrible shit to them. Didn't know we was chill like that. And then he like turns them into statues, I think. I might be making that up. It's been 6 months. This is another case where like I read the whole Eden Zero's manga, then I watched this, and I'm just like, I don't remember anything about it. It's just not that important to me. I don't remember. I should I guess like a professional would write shit down, but I'm, like I said, if I'm writing shit down for videos, can't crank hog. But I know it ended also with a great part where like when they're going to rescue the women that like are getting turned into slaves slash statues, maybe, uh, they recruit some chick that's like in like traditional kimono, and she's got an energy sword, but she like is like a samurai and like cool. And then they like find, actually she's like there for like a whole arc, and then is that the end? I'm conflating different parts now, because I know they also do the part. First, let me cook. The samurai girl, they go to a planet where they like, she was abandoned and raised by like a cool samurai robot, so that's why she like knows laser sword tricks. But they go to the planet where her real mom is, and her real mom is like a real fucking piece of shit, scumbag loser dork who's like enslaving a whole planet, and she's like, go to the coal mines and get me more coal. And they're like, if I get enough coal, she'll set me free. But that never happens, obviously, because once the slaves get enough coal, they've got like a wrist thing or like a collar or something that like has a number. So it's like, oh, if you get 999 coal, you get set free. But the truth is, if you get 999 coal, the number just fucking loops back over. Like it'll hit zero and then tick back over to 999, because she's like, and lose my best slave? Come on. And then they have a confrontation where, um, she's like, you weren't my real mom, that cool samurai robot lady was. Fuck you. And then they leave. And I'm pretty sure the last scene of that mom is her now freed slaves are like, essay her, and then it cuts to black. So like Fairy Tail, maybe Homeboy took it to heart that like a big complaint about Fairy Tail was that like the main guys would be like getting their asses beat, and then they would go like, "But I'm a member of Fairy Tail," and they would get an insane power boost and just win with the power of friendship. That's another reason that people like don't fuck with it, but which it is a little egregious when you're on like season fucking 9 and he's like, "Oh my god, the Demon Lord is so strong, but I'm a member of Fairy Tail," and you're like, "Okay, I get it, man. You're a member of Fairy Tail, and now you're a more billion times stronger than we could ever fathom, and you win. Great, yippee." But in Zero, he was like, "Okay, people didn't fuck with that power friendship shit. What if this arc people are slaves slash getting SA'd? What if this other arc is slaves and people are getting SA'd?" I realize I'm saying the same thing for two different arcs. What if in this season people get murdered? What if they add the next part or before that, baby, I don't remember, is the main guy inherits a ship from his robot grandfather, and he gets like there's like the robot samurai lady was actually like one of the robot grandpa's like homeboys. They're called like the Four Shining Stars or something like that. So like there's four of them. When they get their ship, there's already one. They go get the robot samurai lady. They go get when they're getting slave statue SA'd. They get Sister Ivy, who's like their healer, and then they gotta go get their like tech lady, who's like in a video game, but like of course it's like the future sci-fi shit. So it's like you can go into the game like it's Sword Art Online, and then oh my god, if you die in the game, you die for real. What? Oh no. Um, and then they the lore is that she like robot grandpa like abandoned them all, and then that like just shut her down, like not literally, but like she was like turned off her emotion chip or whatever the fuck, and then went and like huddled in a corner in the game world and was like, "I like the game world, leave me alone." While the main guys were like, "We'll be your homies now, come with us." And then the main guy is such a muscled up Chad that he like saves the day, and she's like, "Maybe it will be okay." And then she goes with him. I don't remember the order of events. Like I know main guy meets main girl, and then I think the first thing they do is actually fucking confusing. Like not really, but like main guy main girl get ship, fuck off, and then they leave their like home base, and then they like fly into a chronosphere, which means that oh shit, you wanted to go to this planet, but it's getting eaten by a chronosphere, so now it's just perpetually 70 years in the past. So then the main girl knows a like old guy professor, and then because they enter the chronosphere, they meet a young version of him, and he becomes one of the main characters. But then in the future, they're just like, now there's two of them. Seemed a little needlessly convoluted, but whatever. What do I know? Oh, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. I live and breathe convoluted. I'm gonna move on because now, like, I got not a lot to say about this other than I wanna dap up oh, what's his name? Hiro Mashima, I think the author's name is. I didn't look it up. That like he's like so horned up that he's just like, look at these sexy characters, isn't it awesome? And there's like the whole internet that's like, stop it, you fucking freak, draw them normal. And I'm like, oh, these character designs ain't so bad. All right, moving on. Next we got Kimetsu no Yaiba Hashira Geikohen, which is Demon Slayer. What is it, season 4 technically? Because there was the first season, then there was the train slash the entertainment district, which was season 2, and then season 3 was the Swordsmith Village. Yeah, so this was season 4. I gave this one a 5-star ranking. I remember when this one came out, everyone was like cutting their dicks off, like, "Oh my god, it's so bad, they ruined Demon Slayer." I mean, Demon Slayer was already like just kind of fine to begin with. I know in my last video I gave the last 2 seasons like insane ratings because of the visuals, but um, this season it's literally just like we gotta go beat up the main bad guy. Let's train. And this says it's 8 episodes. I remember looking it up. I think it's like literally 4 chapters. So that means that they doubled the fucking length of this arc to like be like we gotta milk another season. And then the last arc will be 3 movies, which I think is a fucking horrible idea, except that it will look incredible. Like, and like, hey, I'm all for it looking incredible. Who's gonna see something that looks good and go like, this looks too good? I mean, I know a few people have been on Reddit. Uh, well, I had an example, but I lost it. I know there's people that are like, it looks too good for something that I was bitching about my friends to somewhat recently. I don't remember though. But I gave it 5 stars because, well, it's not as good as like the rest, or maybe I rated season 1 lower than that because I know that's my least favorite part. Um, it's just like, it was like fucking boring, and it's 8 episodes, so like you can watch it in one night if you have the free time. But like, nothing fucking happens because they, were like, okay, 4 chapters, stretch it the fuck out. We gotta buy time until we can finish these movies. Which, like, I guess, no, they could have just put it at the beginning of the first movie. That's what they wanted to do. Fuck them. Fuck them. They suck. I hate them. I'm moving on. I'm over it, as you can tell by the sound of my voice. The next thing on my anime list is Jujutsu Kaisen's second season. See, like, this one just says second season, but Bleach had that fucking, like, novel. This one I gave 4 stars, better than first season. If you'll remember, I gave season 1 fucking 1 star because my problem with the anime of Jujutsu Kaisen so far is that I'm watching it, and the parts that I did like in the manga, I've 180'd, and I'm like, that's not good now, which is unfortunate because I at least like. There's parts of like modern shonen where I'll be like, well, I like this, but I don't like this, and this like was awesome, but this sucked penis, and like the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen, like I thought was like slow until he met that one kid, and then I liked it, and then I liked when Toto showed up, and then like whatever, and then like, season 2, I remember liking all of it. Like even they do a Gojo, my beloved Gojo Borsellino. They do like his backstory, which obviously like everyone loved Gojo. They had to. They were like, we need more Gojo, more Gojo. I remember liking that, even though I do think it's a little contrived that they were like, hey, by the way, this guy is like sorcerer Jesus, and every now and again he needs to eat someone so that he can like stay around, and the one he's got to eat is this girl. Go become friends with her. And then they become friends with her, and they're like, shit, we don't want you to die. That would be so heckin' sad. Man, I'll protect you with my life, girl whose name I already forget, even though I've watched this anime and read the manga. But you're only in this one arc, so you don't matter. Then after that, there's dun dun dun, the Shibuya incident, which, like, I remember before I read the manga, I think it was at that point. I think that's like where the manga was during when I was seeing many Twitter posts, a Reddit post like, you heard of this Jujutsu Kaisen thing? It's gonna be the next big thing. And I'm like, oh, it's a battle shonen? Fuck yeah, sign me up. You know that's my shit. So then I go read it, and I get the Shibuya and eat it up because it's basically just like a bunch of fights one after the other. Who doesn't love that? My favorite fight, from what I remember when I read it, was the main kid Itadori versus, was it Grasshopper? A big grasshopper demon? I remember really liking that because I remember there's a scene where like the grasshopper's like, I know this basic fact, I'm a genius, and Itadori's like, well, yeah, I know that too. And then the grasshopper gets like irrationally fucking flabbergasted and pissed, like, you're a genius too, and then they duke it out. I remember complaining to my buddy that they introduced a character, I think during the first half of the season on the Gojo backstory, that like there's a main character called Fushiguro. His dad abandoned him. In the backstory, they show the dad, who like might be wrong about this, but from what I remember, he like straight up sells the kid, and is like, he'll have a better life without me. Fuck it, I don't even want him. And then he leaves, and then like he goes off and fucking dies. Spoilers, whatever. I don't care, and you should neither. That like then in the Shibuya incident, there's some random woman that's like a bippity boppity boo. That guy's back. He's too marketable. Everyone will love him. So then he comes back, and then there is a pretty funny scene where like a group of the main characters are like stuck in another dimension fighting, was that crab? A crab demon? Something like that. Squid demon? I don't know. Fuck it. And then they're like, we need to open the barrier, even if it's just for a second, and hope someone comes in to save us because we all suck dick. And then they open the barrier, and then he like crashes in through the ceiling, I think, because he's upside down, while like plays, and you know that like did make me laugh. Um, I don't love characters like that where they just exist to be like, dude, he's so heckin' epic and his muscles are big and juicy and don't you want to fuck him? And also, did I mention he's awesome? Like, it's just boring. But that scene, you know, I remember enjoying that in the manga. That I remember like laughing at the anime. But then I don't remember anything after that. I know after they fight Squid Demon, dead dickhead dad meets his kid, and in that moment decides, you know what? I know I literally sold you for cash money, but I can't bring myself to fight you. And then he like reverse undoes his fucking Edo Tensei bringing back jutsu, and then he disappears. But like to me, that just made me roll my eyes. I can't buy that. Like that guy was a pretty good dad the way he gave up his son, but then a decade later seems to care for some reason now that he's a zombie. Like no, it was just eye roll worthy, and I can't. And then I don't remember anything. I remember Itadori vs. Choso looks cool. That was a cool fight in the manga. I'm like so tired of having to think about this. Like it's just like not a series I enjoy. But I was like, I'm a masochist, you know. I have to read the whole thing. If anyone says I haven't read it, I'll fucking shit. But you know, I have read it. Not that it helps because it would be like, what happens in this scene? And I'm like, I don't remember. I didn't like it, so it left my brain. I know they like seal Gojo, so that next season there will be no Gojo, and all the femcel gooners will be like, where is he? My pussy can't get wet if there's no Gojo. At least I can fuck. I want to fuck Sukuna, and he's in the body of a minor. Oh fuck. On to the next thing on the list. We got. This says 5 Tobun no Hanayome, which I guess that's the Japanese title for the Quintessential Quintuplets, which was a series that at first I was reading on, like, I had something, like some random book app that was like, we have the first 8 volumes for free, and I was like, cool. So I read a couple of volumes, and then I just like fell off reading it, not because I disliked it, but just because I got distracted. I was probably cranking my hog. And then I was like, I'll just watch it. It's 12 episodes, and then like that's faster than reading it. You know, TikTok brain, ADHD moment where I watch. I give this one 7 out of 10 stars because it is like enjoyable. Of like you're me and you're deeply lonely, and you're like, man, what would it be like to have 5 twins thirst after you? Oh my God, he's living the dream. But I remember it's like a genuinely, at least season 1 was like pretty funny, and like I enjoyed what was done with like there. I don't think season 1 really has that much romance happening. I know they set up main guy. Well, nothing. They set up that like the one girl, best girl, Miku, wants the main guy, but you know, he's in a romance anime. He doesn't know left from right. A girl wants to fuck him? Nah. He's just there to tutor them. Nah, I don't really have much to say about it plot wise because it's a rom com. It's just like, and then this scene, they flirted, and he was oblivious. So I'll move on. Although the next thing on this list is, this came out in January, so I definitely just like re-ranked this. I think I gave it a higher score. Was Monsters, which I definitely talked about in part 1, so I'm just gonna gloss over that. Fucking cool 20 episode movie. Then after that we have Alice to Therese no Baboroshi Koju, which I gave 9 stars. I don't remember the name it had on Netflix. It was not that. This was a trippy ass movie where it's like a bunch of kids are just hanging out, like living, and then it's like, oh, by the way, the town you're in is fucking stuck, frozen in this exact year. So like, is it a year? I know it's winter at one point. It must be the year. Yeah, I think it's like you're stuck in 1973 or something like that. But then also, homeboy like goes to like abandoned train yard or something like that, and then there's just like a wild child, like a little like human girl child that's like acting like a goddamn wolf monkey, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And like the most popular girl in his class is like, "Man, you found her. Now you gotta help me raise her." And then they like start to like take care of her and raise her, and it's revealed later that it's like we're not just frozen in time, but there's like outside the time bubble is like the real alternate timeline, and you and I fuck. We fall in love. We're husband and wife, and this homunculus is our daughter, and for some reason she's here, but we gotta get her out of here or we're all gonna die. I gave it a 9. I remember really liking it, even though I didn't fully understand what was happening because I'm not very smart. But yeah, I would check it out if you have Netflix, because movie good. Unga Bunga. Really like, really exciting commentary from me. I know that. What can I say? Some movies are good. Moving on, we've got Five Tuba no Hanayam Fucked Up 2 Symbol. This is Quintessential Quintuplets Part 2, Season 2. I gave this one 6 stars. I don't remember exactly why. I think I just like didn't give a fuck. No, I mean, instantly I go to like, it fucking sucked and I hated it. 6 stars. No. I hope that didn't peak the mic. I gave it 6 stars because I remember like Season 1, it's like funny. It's fun. I'm like, oh, what girl will they set up to be wanting? Like, wanting. What relationship are they gonna like try and set up? Like, there's 5 of them. Surely they won't do all 5, and then they do all 5 for some reason. I remember, I am a certified Miku enjoyer, so I was like, he should end up with Miku. And they like laid on thick that he should end up with Miku. I remember the whole fucking like season 1 and season 2 heavily are like Miku liked him first. He, by the end of season 2, they're like going on a date or something, and it's like he's gonna end up with Miku. But like then like the season ends and he's like, there's a setup for her to admit that she's in love with him, and instead she literally says like, I love, and he's like, donkey donkey, like what's she gonna say? And she's like, my sisters, I know they're all in the room behind us eavesdropping. And then they all like poke their heads out like, how'd she know? And then he's like, oh, of course he didn't mean me. How could you mean me even though you're deeply in love with me and this is a romance anime? And then we cut right to the next thing on the list, which is the Quintessential Quintuplets movie, which I assume is the end of the manga. Like I said, I only read the first, what would have been season 1. And then in the movie, I give this one 5 stars because it's competent. It's not exactly written like shit, but spoilers if you wanted to watch this based on my growing endorsement of like, they set up with Miku and they fucked it up, to this is how they fuck it up even more. The movie is him like going on dates with all, like, it's like, okay, this set of scenes is like, what if he goes and bees with Miku? And this set of scenes is what if he goes and bees with Itsuki and like all the sisters, all 5, except for one. And then it's like, by the way, she's like the mystery girl we set up in season 1 that like he's been deeply in love with. It's the girl that like showed no interest in him at all the whole show. Like 3 of the sisters are like deeply in love with him, and like 2 of them aren't. And it's one of the 2 that isn't, that like he ends up with, and like they keep like splicing in scenes of their wedding, but they at the wedding they all look like they're quintuplets, but like for the sake of the show, they all look different. But in the movie, they're all in wedding dresses and all look exactly the same, and it's like, which one did he pick? It's not the worst option, but like definitely he should have ended up with Miku. What can I say? I'm passionate about this series. Not really, but I was definitely disappointed that like, why the fuck did you set it up to be Miku to like rug pull? Did he? I'm wondering if like the author like set up like, oh, it's Miku, and everyone was like, nice, he's gonna end up with Miku, and he was like, how'd they all figure out he's gonna end up with Miku? So then they like, he reread it to make it worse or shit. I don't know. Maybe this was his intention from the start. I don't buy that, but maybe. Now we're moving right along to Spy Family, and on my anime list, it's listed as Spy Family and Spy Family Part 2. Like, they must have done, like, a set of 10 episodes, and then next season they did 10 set of 10 episodes. But when I watched this on Netflix, it was all just like, this was season 1. But for the sake of my anime list, I did two entries, which works out because the first 12 episodes I gave it an 8. Unbelievably beautiful, funny show. The basic premise is that, like, there's this dad called Agent Twilight, and he's a spy, hence the Spy X Family. And his mission is to, like, get close with someone so that they, like, try and prevent World War III. But to do that, he has to, like, get the help of a secret family. And his secret family is also fucked up because then he gets a fake daughter, like, we adopts her, but this daughter was, like, I forget if the lore is that she was experimented on, but for whatever reason, she has telepathic ability. She can read people's thoughts. So that's, like, a source for a lot of the comedy, is her, like, reacting to shit that no one would know that she knows because she can read minds. And then there's the wife character, Yor, who, like, he, like, fake marries, and the fake marriage for him is for his mission, but she doesn't know that he's lying to her. Like, he's, like, fully in character as a character called Lloyd Forger, and then he's like, will you marry me? It would be great and help my daughter get into school, but really it's for the mission. And then Yor is like, these bitches at work won't leave me alone. They're like, why are you single, you bitch? Have a husband. And she's like, oh, I totally do, guys. I just didn't tell you. So then, she enters the fake marriage just so that people get off her fucking back. I know I definitely rated Part 2 higher because I forget the animation studio who does Spy Family. I know it's one of the good ones. So, like, there's certain scenes where you would be like, this is a fucking comedy show. Why does the scene look so good? So I think Part 2 might have both, where, like, there's an episode where the daughter's like, oh man, I really want to play superheroes. So then Lloyd, like, uses his connections at Spy Town, USA, to, like, set up a bunch of agents to, like, play pretend villains, and, like, the fucking Sakuga, like, clean as shit, beautiful animation, like, goes off for, like, this little girl playing fucking tag, basically. And then I know there's a fight scene with the dad and the mom where she, like, gets blitzed off alcohol, and she's, like, starts trying to fight him for whatever reason. And then I lost my train of thought. I said I think Part 2 has both of these, where the second thing would be Twilight Lloyd has to go on another mission where he, like, steals artwork or something. I forget the details. But in doing so, he has to, like, pretend to be a goated tennis player with his fellow agent. And, like, that tennis match is, like, genuinely, like, one of the most, like, exciting fucking scenes in fiction. Like, it looks great. I'm gonna move on now because I don't have a whole lot to say in terms of the story, because it's a comedy. I can just go, like, hey, it's funny, but also, if it just being funny isn't big enough a draw, it has insane Sakuga animation for action scenes, because sometimes there's fucking action scenes. And actually, you know what? I left out an insane fucking detail where I was like, the wife married him so that people would leave her alone. The wife is secretly an assassin. You'd think I would fucking say that, but it actually slipped my mind because I'm a doofus. So like, sometimes, like, all of season 2, which I'll get to later on the list, is, like, you're on a mission to, like, protect some people that are trying to get, like, assassinated by a whole other group of, like, bad guys. But yeah, that's crazy. Could you imagine if I was, like, reviewing, like, fucking Dragon Ball and I never brought up martial arts or the Dragon Balls, or I'm fucking like, so Naruto's a show, never bring up ninjas? That's fucking crazy. But to be honest, I read the title Spy Family. It's not, Spy Assassin Family. But anyway, now I can move on. We have Kami no To Oji no Kikan, which is Tower God Season 2. I gave this one 4 stars because, and I think it only got, like, somewhat of a not completely dog shit ranking because Season 1 of Tower God blew me away. It was, like, during COVID. Awesome fucking show. Like, I loved all the characters. They were all interesting. There was, like, a mystery of, like, Homeboy has to climb the Tower of God to, like, make his dream come true, and his dream is to, like, be with his basically like girlfriend, not girlfriend, Rachel, who like was like the only person he's ever known, basically. And then it turns out like, oh, Rachel's also in the tower. And then like season one ends, she fucking pushes homeboy off the tower. So then like season two starts, and you're just like following some blonde guy, and it's like, where's the guy from season one? And he does show up later, but like when he shows up later, it's like, oh, now he's like taller and more built, and like he has long hair, and he knows magic kung fu, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, I think I gave it like a couple bonus points because I was biased, even though this season was not good. It brought in a whole new cast of characters, all wildly less likable than the season one cast. Even the like the main guy is like markedly less interesting than he was in season one. So I can't even be like, but that guy's my dude. Um, and the 4 star, I remember one episode was really cool. Like there was a really cool fight scene. So like that might have been why I was like, I'll give it 4 instead of 3. But I can't recommend season one enough. But also because season two exists and it shits on the legacy of season one. That like I can't be like, you should check it out. Like you should watch season one and then be like, and then we never find out what happened to the guy that got pushed off the tower. Like I could recommend that. This has an insane name in Japanese for the next thing on the list. We have Tokidoki Boseto Russia, Go de Dereku Tonari no Alya-san. Holy shit. It's called like Alya. Oh my god, now I that like put its hands into my brain and shook around, so now I don't remember the English title. It's like Alia sometimes shares her feelings in Russian, or like can't help but say her true feelings in Russian. I'm out. I'm not out. Uh, so it's like there's this girl. She's a Russian girl, but she's living in Japan because it's an anime, and she sits across from homeboy, and they'll like be flirting, razzing each other, and she'll like blurt out in Russian like, "Oh my god, he's so stupid. I love him so much." And you know, she thinks that that's like an offense, like, "Oh, she's Russian. He's some Japanese jabroni. He doesn't know like what's here or there." But he conveniently enough knows Russian, so he's like, "She wants me so bad," but he can't like admit it because he doesn't want to embarrass her. So I went into this, I was like, it's a rom com because I knew that part, like the like her being like, I need his cum, I need his cock inside me, but in Russian. I knew that part. But it's actually for the most part like there's bits of like will they won't they, but like for the most part it's actually a story of like Alia-san wanting to be more to rise the ranks of the student council that she's already in, but she's like a lower member. She's like, I want to be student council president, and you're gonna be my vice president, boyfriend guy. And he's like, bet. Did I say I gave that one 7 stars? I don't think I did. I gave that one 7 stars. I went in like expecting the rom com aspect to it, and then was like almost pleasantly surprised that it wasn't just a generic romance anime, and then it was like actually like there was a story to be. It wasn't like it wasn't an amazing story because it's just a 7, but like it's entertaining enough. Like if that's what you're looking for. And then the next thing on the list is the first. This is the first like monumental thing, right? Like I know I gave some. No, okay, that movie I gave a 9 that I said I didn't understand, but and I gave some 8s, but like this one is the first 10. There's a couple 10s to be found on my list. Like I was actually just watching good shit. Crazy talk. The next thing on the list is One Piece fan letter, which I'm glad it has its own slot on my anime list. I know I was like annoyed by some earlier entries, but like because it is just, oh my god, I'm destroying my fucking throat. One Piece fan letter is a special episode, but like it is just like there was episode like 1081, and this would be like 1082 or something. But it is not just called like, it's not just fan letter, but it's like a love letter to like, it was a special anniversary episode, so it's like a love letter to the fans and the series and the author, and like it's directed by, I forget her name. I should have written this down because like everything else that she like touches fucking turns to gold. Like she did an earlier episode of One Piece in the Wano arc. I think it was episode 915. I might be wrong, but that number's sticking out to me, where it's like a character's backstory, and she like made it so beautiful and so romantic to watch. Like it was a part of the manga I really didn't care about because it like shoehorns in a character that I don't give a fuck about. But even I left watching that episode like, oh my god, how did you fucking make me care about this thing that I like didn't about previously? Like that's incredible. And whenever people bring this lady up, I feel bad just calling her the lady, but I don't know her name and I'm not gonna Google it. They're like they need to give the next movie to her, and I after watching that episode and One Piece fan letter, I agree. Like, give her every episode of the fucking show, dude. Holy shit, give her her own series where she can like cook. Let her cook. Let her cook. But One Piece fan letter is set from the perspective of this like she's a teenager, I think, but she's very short. So like little girl who like is a fan of the main cast, the Straw Hat Pirates, and she's like, I felt like unseen and like I wasn't good enough, but I know that there's like badasses like Nami and Robin that are like clearly these like girl boss chads, and I feel like that elevates me. Like I can be better because I know they're out there kicking ass. And she's like, I need to like tell them. Like I will not be happy unless I can tell Nami how much I respect her and how much she means to me. So she writes a One Piece fan letter, and she's like, she's gonna go try and deliver it, but like on the way, like things keep going wrong and getting in her way. And this is set like in a like where the anime was like 10 years ago when like the Straw Hat Pirates were separated because of plot, but then they're all coming back together, which is where she lives on Sabaody Archipelago. And she's like, this is my fucking chance to get my fan letter to them. So she's like running. It also introduces her family members who are two Marines, aka like the bad guys. It shows them at a gigantic war that took place right before where this is set, and it really like recontextualized that scene where like there's a character that's a gigantic demon ogre dude that like gets killed and like falls over, and he's crushing one of these two brothers. And like when you're watching the war play out in the actual anime or the manga, you're like, yeah, this war is fucking awesome. Look at these superpowered fucking monsters. But then you don't think about like what it would be like for a normal jabroni. And these two brothers are those normal jabronis where like this monster falls, crushes his leg, and he's like, he can't. There's also water because the one guy had fucking gigantic ice powers, so there's fucking water everywhere. So he's crushed under the monster. He's stuck underwater. He's drowning. He's just trying to go save his fucking brother who like got shot. Oh my god, what a fucking scene, dude. I can't like. It really is like for fans of One Piece, but I feel like even if you didn't give a shit about One Piece, you could watch it and be like, that lady director he was talking about was cooking. Like, I mean, the way she directed it is beautiful. The animation's incredible. I don't know who like actually wrote it. Obviously, that would have been someone on staff because the filler episode is not part of the manga canon. But this is such a beloved special that I remember going to Reddit and seeing people like they need to canonize these characters even if they're just like in a background shot someday in another chapter one day. Like holy shit, they really like they cooked it to perfection. Chef's kiss, slam dunk, whatever you want to say. Oh my god, this like and talking about it now, I'm like, I want to go watch it again. Which you know what, I might. I'm gonna move on. The next thing on my list is something I actually re-ranked because I watched this years ago as like a teenager. We got Naruto Shippuden Movie 6 Road Ninja, and in high school, after Naruto had ended the manga, when I was in high school, not just like, I don't know why I said it like, when everyone was in high school, Naruto ended. When I was in high school, Naruto ended. And then I was like, oh man, Naruto's over. What am I going to do? Oh, I haven't seen all the movies. So I watched all the movies all in a row, like over the span of a few days. And I thought most of them sucked dick. I was like, oh, they were not cooking. They got the poo poo doo doo writers in on the fucking Naruto movies. But I got the Road to Ninja, and I was like, this is one of the good ones. And I rewatched it. Me at age I don't know when I watched it. I was 16 or I was like 18. I was a fucking dumbass. I mean, I still am, but I think I have a higher understanding of what good writing is these days. And Naruto the Shippuden movie 6 Road Ninja ain't it. Holy shit. So like Naruto and Sakura are big chillin', and then like the main bad guy for most of the series is like go to another dimension jutsu, and then they go to another dimension where like Naruto's parents are alive and Sakura's parents actually respect her, and Sasuke's there and he loves pussy, and Hinata's there instead of being shy, she's a cunt, and Kiba's there but he loves cats instead of not. Like they basically were like, what if everyone was completely different? Except for Sakura and Naruto, I guess. Like that's just part of the like go to another dimension jutsu, where it's fucking Naruto did the multiverse before it was epic, before it was cool, and they did it poorly because holy shit, is it not interesting? I know the bad guy of the movie is like alt dimension Naruto, but he has black hair and his name is Menma, and his voice is even deeper than normal Naruto. Isn't that so fucking epic? No, it sucks. It's boring. It doesn't look as good as it did when it came out. This is 2012. I watched it again now, 15 years later. Holy shit, is it poopy? Especially because like there's a like Sakura's lore in the movie is that she's like, my parents treat me like shit. Don't they know I'm an epic ninja? Uh, which is like you're in a world where people like get struck by magical lightning and like blown up and die and shit, or like their corpses get desecrated and brought back as like ninja warriors. Like, shut the fuck up that your parents aren't like glazing you. Holy, and I like Sakura. She is totally fine in the normal manga, in my opinion. I know she like everyone hates her, but this movie made me like maybe those guys weren't talking smack and they're right and she does suck. But like obviously this isn't written by Kishimoto. It's written by the movie writer staff. And now that we're done talking about Naruto Uzumaki, we're gonna move along and talk about normal Uzumaki. This, I felt like I screamed that. Whoops. This is an adaptation of the work Uzumaki by Junji Ito. If someone was like gonna recommend you horror manga, like Junji Ito's the guy. He's like the. I don't have an example of another medium because I'm a weeb and all I know is this. So he's like my only example can be like other like manga shit where it's like if you wanted to watch action, someone would bring up Dragon Ball. If you wanted like dark fantasy, they would bring up Berserk, shit like that. Like he's like my brain is saying Spielberg. I don't even know if that's apt. Like he's one of the goats basically. And I gave this 3 stars, which is generous because in preparation I read Uzumaki, and you know what? Not to like ruffle any feathers, Uzumaki's like just fine. I don't know what I gave the manga. Let's say I gave it like 5 or 6 stars out of 10. It wasn't bad, but like when people are talking about Uzumaki, they're really thinking of like the girl on the fucking poster where like her head is like swirling inwards and then it like fully. So oh no, my light. No. Excuse me. Awkward silence. What the fuck? Okay, we're back. Instead of a ring light like a professional would have, I'm using the light from my TV while it sits on a Steam menu. Hell yeah. But like people only think about the one scene in Uzumaki, which isn't even the best scene in my opinion. Like that's in like chapter 3. But chapter 1 and what's episode 1, actually I don't remember because I know in the anime they like throw shit all over the place where like episode 1 is chapter 1, but then like episode 2 is something completely different that would have been like chapter 16 or something. But like episode 1 is incredible. Spoilers, I mean you shouldn't watch the anime anyway because it's dog shit, but if you want to read the manga, I'm about to spoil that too. Chapter 1 starts, the dad is like, well, there's like a boyfriend girlfriend, and the boyfriend like leaves the town they're in to like go to normal high school somewhere else, and or he goes to college and his girlfriend is in high school. I don't know, but she's like, she goes to high school like in this town they live in, but he gets to leave. So because he gets to leave, he's like comes back and he's like, there's something fucked up in this town. This town is not chill. We should leave. We should run away together. Let's go to Las Vegas. And she's like, "You're actually acting crazy. You're wigging out. We're not going anywhere." He's like, "I'll stay because I love you, high school girl." And then so begins the curse of the spiral. And his dad is like, "Aren't spirals really fucking epic?" And he's like, constantly like, what's he doing? Drawing spirals, or like he's arranging things on spirals. And there's a scene of him like crashing out at a fucking dinner. He's like, "Why isn't my food arranged in the shape of a spiral? God damn it!" And they're like, "Oh, we're sorry. We'll do it next time." And he's like, "That's not good enough." He but let's flash forward to the end of the episode. Well, right before the end of the episode. Wait, they don't love you like I. Right before the end of the episode, the main girl is like talking to the dad, and he's like, "I'm actually chill. I don't need spirals anymore because look what I can do." And he juts out his tongue, and it's like 10 times the size it fucking should be. And then he like makes it wrap in a spiral pattern, and he's like, "Truck this out." And she's like, "What the fuck?" And she takes off, and he's like, "What was her problem?" And then a delivery guy walks up at that moment. It's like, "Your delivery's here," and he's like, "Hell yeah!" And then it cuts to the next morning, and they found the dad, and they're like, "Well, he's fucking dead." And then it like shows his dead body in a like big like people sized like circular tub, and he's like destroyed his body, like all his bones and muscles and shit, so he could like form a circle perfectly in this like tub. And when I read that, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's gnarly. That's awesome. I get why people like Uzumaki." And then the next chapter, the mom is like also starting to go crazy with spirals, and then she's like, she realizes that like seeing spirals would freak her out because it reminds her of her husband's fucked up dead body. And then she's like, "I can't look at spirals." And she's like, "Wait a minute, my fingertips are spirals." So then there's a scene of her taking scissors and cutting off all her fucking fingertips. Oh my god, that might be my least favorite scene from the whole fucking thing, because like, oh, because it's like, imagine doing it to yourself. Wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that be not cool? Um, and then after that is the third chapter, where there's the girl who's like, everyone thinks she's super duper sexy. She's got like a scar right here, and then as the episode progresses, it like is a spiral and swirls, and her face gets more like fucked up and disturbed. That, and like that's what everyone thinks about when they think about Uzumaki. But then it like falls off like a fucking cliff in like future chapters slash episodes. And I remember I was talking to my homeboy. Why the fuck did I call him that? I was talking to my friend, and I was like, I really hope they don't. I know Uzumaki. It says it's only 4 episodes, so surely they don't do the scenes later where like by the end their entire town is destroyed, and there's guys that ride around in hurricanes like they have magical superpowers. Suffice to say, it's in the show. It's in the fucking show. Uh, I mean, to be honest, I don't remember what isn't in the show. I think they like mostly did show everything, even if it was like dog shittily thrown around the like. Oh, what chapter 2 is actually in episode fucking 4 and like whatever, you know. But I remember I saw people upset because there's a scene where there's a kid that keeps harassing the main girl, um, and he's like his whole thing is that he's like, she'll get super horny for me if I like jump out and surprise her. And she's like, "I actually fucking hate what you do. That, can you get away from me, you soy boy beta cuck? I fucking hate your guts." And he's like, "I'll get you next time." Uh, and then he ends up, what the fuck happens? He ends up in a Jack in the Box or something like that. Um, no, he gets a Jack in the Box, and she's like, "You know I hate that shit. Fuck you, die," in Minecraft. And then he gets hit by a car, like at the end of fucking Mean Girls. Like one just fucking crashes into him, and then she's like, "Oh shit!" And they go to the funeral, and he like crashes out of his coffin like he's a Jack in the Box, and they're literally like, "Look, the springs from the car are in his feet, and that's how he's bouncing around. Don't worry about how the fact that he's literally a zombie." But that's kind of a staple of Junji Ito shit, where uh, you know, like crazy shit will be happening, and characters will be like, um, "That's happening. Just another day at the office." Whatever. Don't watch the show. Fucking sex dicks. This might be the lowest ranked thing from the past 6 months. It's not good. I actually also remember I was about to move on. Hold the fucking phone. Episode 1 came out and everyone was like, it's incredible. I watched episode 1 and I didn't think it looked good. Although I did see actual other animators being like, yeah, episode 1's a fucking baller. So, like, maybe, like, trust them, not me. I'm truly just a boy. Moving right along, we have the Spy Family movie Code White, which I gave 7 stars. Which, honestly, I think maybe I should have given, like, a 6, because it's totally fine. The family goes on, like, a boat trip, or, like, they go to another city. I don't remember that. Yeah, this should have gotten like a 6 star, but I gave it 7. Maybe because like it looks good enough because it's got the movie budget, and I wasn't bored, but like I genuinely don't remember anything that happens. I know convolutedly, the dad, the mom, and the daughter end up on like a ship that's being held hostage, like what, and like they save the day. I don't know. Like saying it out loud, I'm like that's fucking stupid. But yeah, this should have gotten 6 stars. I gave it 7 stars. I'll change it after the video. Trust. Then we got Spy Family season 2, which got 9 stars because I remember most of the season is like about the mom on an assassin mission, like I mentioned earlier, and I can't I can't describe the plot. She's on an assassin mission where she like has to actually protect someone instead of just kill someone. But there's like a whole evil group of assassins that are like, we need to kill them. Let's all work together. We'll split the money. And like it's very like creative the way that she has to protect the like husband and wife duo. And I remember I don't remember exactly why, but it's like it's called Spy Family, so the whole family has to be there. So like she's there on the assassin mission, and the dad and the daughter are there, but they're not with her. She's in like upper class because of her job, while they're in like the normal shit, like the fucking basement or whatever. And they're like, let's go do stuff. But then like, because the daughter can read thoughts, she's like, I gotta go help mama. Uh, You'd think that because I gave it 9 stars, I would remember more of it. But I mean, like as a blanket, I would say like, hey, you should go watch Spy Family. It's really good. It's very funny. It's got the action if you're looking for that. Um, I thought the English voice acting was pretty good. Also, one thing I didn't mention for season 1 is that like, it would be pretty easy to make a character like Anya, the little girl, like annoying as fuck. Because like, obviously we all hate little kids. We can all agree to that, right? Like, let's be real here. Holy shit! I'm destroying my vocal cords. And I think I still have like truly so much to get through, and I'm gonna do it. After that, we got My Hero Academia 7th season. I gave this one 5 stars. I remember there's some parts of it that like truly look awesome, like the end with All Might, or like um, I don't have another example. The end looks really good, but this one is fucked because it's 21 episodes, so that's like most of the year that it was just like slowly coming out, and I am dog shit. I'm telling you, like real fucking poop when it comes to like watching shit week to week. So there would be periods like weeks where I didn't watch it, and then I would watch a bunch at a time. Then weeks would go by, and like so like I remember this is a part of the manga I don't like. So 5 stars is probably actually generous because I bet when this shit was happening in the manga, I would have been like 3 stars. Fuck this. I hate reading this every week. Please save me. But I'm a masochist. I'm gonna move on because I don't have much to talk about. If you like My Hero, maybe you'd like it. The ending is awesome, except for the ending where it just ends like, wait a year for next season. Next on the list, we got Zom 100. This is a crazy name. Zom 100 Zombie ni Naru Made ni Shitai 100 no Kota. It's called Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. This is a manga that I read last year, right as I found out that like I was working part-time, and then I went to do, I almost said audition, I went to do the interview. Holy shit, you'd think I would have thought the word sooner. I went to do the interview. I knew I fucked up the interview as I was doing it, and I left and I went, that went like shit, I'm not getting the job. And then like I'd still had like 2 weeks left at that job, and I was like, oh, and my buddy texts me. Well, actually, I'm at work. I bust out my iPad. I download the first like 10 chapters of Zom 100, and my buddy texts me and he's like, "Hey man, have you read Zom 100?" And I go, "It's funny you should say that." I sent him a screenshot of the downloads and he's like, "It's incredible." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm looking forward to it." Little did I know that I would give the manga like a 9 or a 10. Like, I love the manga so much. It's got incredible artwork. Um, the story is like, at the time, what I needed, it was just like, basically, I'm getting ahead of myself. The story is there's this guy, he gets out of college, he gets a job at this advertising company. He's like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Little does he know, it's like an abusive workplace that's like, you have to work 24-hour shifts every single day. Fuck you. You're not going home again ever. He works there for years. It's killing him. He's like, I fucking hate this. I wish I was dead. The zombie apocalypse breaks out. He like goes outside. He sees zombies. He like goes back into his apartment and he's like, "Oh my god, there's zombies. The world is devastated. You know what this means? I don't have to fucking go to work." And he starts like cracking open beers and he's like, "Let's go." So it's like a story of this kid. Not a kid. He's probably actually my age, in his 20s, and he wanted to like unalive himself. He wanted to commit suicide. He just wanted it to end, and then he finds just pure hope and optimism when he realizes that like there's more to life than like working a soul-sucking job. And the name is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead because he writes down in a notebook 100 things I want to do before I get turned into a zombie. And the basic outline of the story and the chapters and the episodes is him going out, and like every episode or chapter is him like slowly working his way through that list. And as he goes on, he like goes and picks up his best buddy Kentro. He meets a girl and falls in love with her. He gets another girl from Germany that loves Japan. They like form a crew. I gave it 8 stars for the show because it is beautiful. However, something that persists throughout well, maybe it didn't. At least early, the first few episodes, they would have scenes of the zombies just like falling over, and they would fart. And when the zombies would fart, like colorful like puffs of smoke, the gas would come out, and I would go dot 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 because that's not in the manga because that's fucking stupid because that's foolish. I'm like, why'd they add that? Some animator was like, dude, this is gonna be fucking funny. He was wrong. And then there's also a lot of filler scenes of just like, here's a randoms that you don't care about fighting the zombies because we don't have enough scenes to make this 12 episodes and end where we want to end it. So like that was disappointing, especially because like that's the only reason that there could be, because the manga at that point was like, it's monthly, so maybe it's not 100 chapters deep, but like there's so many chapters that like for 12 episodes they didn't need to add fucking filler. But like it's still a series that I love, so 8 stars, that's pretty good. Like there's things that I have grievances with, but like this is one I would check out if you like want to laugh, you like zombies, you want the optimism I brought up, like that would be a good reason. Next on the list we got Dead Demons DDDD Destruction, which I gave 6 stars, which it might be, no, that's about right. I would give it 5 or 6 stars. This is a series that I started to watch, honestly, by the time I was like making the last video, but I like didn't finish. I don't think it was done like coming out yet. So I waited till it was all out. It's 17 episodes. It's actually 18 episodes because there's like a episode 0. And I can't even describe what this show is about because I don't understand what it is. Once you're like, you gave it a 6 and you don't know what happened? Yes. And when I went to look it up, everyone was like, this is just like Doraemon. And I'm like, what the fuck is Doraemon about? Because this is like an adult, like, a UFO appears above the city and like ruins a bunch of people's lives because like a bunch of them go crazy, like worshiping it. A bunch of people start going missing because they're getting killed by aliens, and whatever. And then by the end they introduced like time loops and shit. And like in the last time loop, it's like in this one the aliens never come, and they live a good life. Also, in the last episode, they're like, you don't see like the main girls, and it's like, here's a clip of them in Gundam suits in mecha robots fighting the aliens, and it's like, what? And then it's like, then they died. And it's like, what? And then it's like, okay, time loop, no, multiverse, start over. Now they're all alive and the aliens never came, happy ending. And I'm like, what? And then I look it up and they're like, this is just like Doraemon. Now, if you don't know, and I guess I fucking don't know, because Doraemon is like this, question mark, Doraemon's about like a little blue fucking alien that like, I thought it was a gag manga, so like maybe this is like Doraemon for adults, but like I assume the little blue guy is like an alien, and like that's the similarities, but like, if it was just like one random Reddit comment that's like, this is just like Doraemon, I would have been like, this guy's fucking crazy. But it was like, many, too many. Like, it's just like Doraemon, I guess. I'm gonna move on. Next on the list is a good one. This is another 10-star. This is Make Heroine ga Osugiru. It's like, it's called Make 9. Too many losing heroines. And the show is you get introduced to a guy, and he's like kind of a loner, and he goes to a restaurant to like have some food or something, like a diner, and he like sees his classmate across from him, and it's like he like, can tell that like she's like quote unquote getting broken up with, where it's like a guy and he is childhood friends with that girl, and she's clearly in love with him, and he's like, but I want to be with the new transfer student, and she's like, don't let me get in your way, even though that's not what she really wants, she's just being nice. And he's like, I'm so sorry. And then he takes off to go be with the other girl, and he had like a smoothie. He had a smoothie, and then she grabs it, and she's like mulling it over, like, I'm gonna take a sip out of his smoothie. A big thing in Japan is indirect kisses, where it's like I have this water bottle. If someone else took it and took a sip, that would be an indirect kiss because our lips both touched it indirectly. But so, main guy is like over at his booth, and he's like, no way, she's not so fucking depraved and sad that she's gonna get an indirect kiss after she just got broken up with, right? And then she like does it, and like it makes like the kiss sound effect, and then it like panoramas, I think that's the right term. I shouldn't have used a term I don't know. It like pans over to like him like looking devastated, and her like, oh fuck, I've been caught. So then she goes over to him and she starts venting, and she buys a fuck ton of food, and he foots the bill because she doesn't have any fucking money. So then they keep meeting up throughout the school year to like, so she can pay off the debt by making him lunch, and they like talk about like their lives at school and their relationships, and then it like pivots to her joining the same literacy club that he's in, and they like read books. But that's not important. What is important is that much like Alia, I went into this shit, I was like, okay, it's a romance series, and it isn't not a romance series. Like, there's a lot of romantic scenes in a way, where like the main guy is helping his fellow members of the literacy club or friends, and it's like, okay, he's going to like end up with Yanami, the girl at the diner. Like, that's how these always shake out. But it's actually a really, really good series focusing on the platonic relationships of this dude and like several women. So it's like there's Yanami, and then there's Lemon, her name is Lemon, and then the third girl whose name I forget. But like different chunks of the story focus on him, like just being a real fucking dude, like just a really good guy, helping them like process their. It's called Too Many Losing Heroines because like the main girl got broken up with by her childhood friend. The second girl has a childhood friend, but he would rather be with, like, he's a fucking dork, so he would rather be with a girl that's a dork while she's like an athlete. And then the third girl is also in the literacy club, and she's in love with like the captain of the literacy club. I don't know if that's the right term, but he's in love with his childhood friend. So the main girls are the losing heroines because they don't get the guy. But then you think like, okay, they don't get that guy, but they'll get the main guy because that's like basic shit. But no, it's actually just them all being like friends, and it's so nice. I mean, I low key would like I love it if main guy and Yanami got together, because like a man's got needs. But if they don't do that, that's also really cool because any other story would do the romance thing, and not that that's bad, but it is cool to see something different done for once. But yeah, I gave it 10 stars. I was absolutely blown away that I saw a clip of that diner scene on Twitter, went, that's fucking funny, watched this anime, and by the end I'm fucking crying my eyes out by how good of friends these people are. The next thing is a re-ranking. I'm not going to talk about that because I watched that like actually 3 years ago, and I think I just re-ranked it because I was like, that was fucking good. Disregarding that re-ranking, it's actually another 10 coming up. We got Sorayori Mo Tuibasho, which is actually called A Place Farther Than the Universe. And this is a show I tried to watch. This says it 2018. That's maybe when I would have. I thought it came out in 2017, but I would have watched this when I was in college because that's when it came out. And I remember only watching 2 episodes and being like, no, not for me. Everyone was saying it was a masterpiece, and I was like, you know what? Like I said earlier, I'm older now. I actually appreciate things now, and I'm not just a dick. So I was like, I'll check it out again. The basic idea is that the main girl's like, I kind of feel like I never commit to anything, and whenever I do, like, I'm like, I'm gonna like go do this. I chicken out, and then I like fuck off. Then she's introduced to low key like who the story is like about. I don't remember any of their names, but second girl, her mom went on a trip to Antarctica. Her mom went missing. They never found her. She's like, I need to go to Antarctica and find my mom. So then, as the story progresses, um, the main girl's like, I want to come with you. I'm like inspired by you, and like this will be my chance to like not chicken out. We're gonna go to Antarctica. So then she gets a job at a convenience store, and then her like colleague, her fellow employee at the convenience store is like, I hear you guys talking about this all the time. I want in. And they're like, oh really? And her thing is that she like left school because she was like bullied relentlessly. So she's like, I kind of want to be a part of something, and this seems really cool. And then through happenstance, they end up meeting a girl who will get to go to Antarctica because she's like a model actress deal. And then she's like, she is disillusioned with that lifestyle and doesn't even want to do it. She just does it because her mom forces her. But then she meets these girls, and she doesn't even understand what having friends is. But then she finds it with the main cast, and she's like, if you guys are really my friends, I will take you all to Antarctica with me. So they all get to go, and I won't spoil anything past that, but like, this is another 10 star because it just really like, I guess friendship really moves me in a way that I didn't like fully like ever think about before watching these 2 series back to back, where it's just like the first one really strong male female platonic friendships, and then this one of just like 4 people becoming best friends on an epic quest. Yeah, but people are right. It's fucking goated. It's a masterpiece. You gotta check it out if you like. It's only 13 episodes. It's fucking short. Next on my list, we got Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer, I knew about because it famously has a SA scene in episode 1, and a lot of people are like, not in my Christian anime, and so they stopped watching it. I watched it. The SA scene is definitely egregious, especially because the rest of the show is not like that. It's basically like the main guy is this like autistic dude that's obsessed with killing goblins because when he was a kid, his village got attacked by goblins and like devastated the place and attacked his best friend, and he was like, never again. So he devotes his life to hunting and killing goblins. And I remember there's a scene where he's like at the mission hall, and they're like, oh, Goblin Slayer. His name is Goblin Slayer. Hey, Goblin Slayer, we got a mission for you. And he's like, is it killing goblins? And I chuckle. It's like fucking funny. But I gave it 7 because like it's like pretty like it's funny and like it's got like okay action, but like it's not gonna blow your mind like some of the other stuff I brought up, like One Piece fan letter. It's not gonna like move you. I mean, the SA scene might move you to clicking X off of Crunchyroll and going, I'm not watching that shit. But I mean, if you can get past that, then it's definitely like a fun enough series. And the next time I do a video, I'll probably have watched Goblin Slayer season 2 and the movie because there's a fucking movie. Next I did a chunk of watching ReZero, although I have already watched season 1 when it came out. So we got ReZero, Hajimeru Isekai Seikatsu Memories Now, which is like a movie that's just like, what if the main cast played in the snow? So I gave it 6 stars because it wasn't bad, but like, I'm finding out also that I'm like, a lot of things I could have like rated at like 5 or Like 6 is fine, but like maybe it's more of a 5 because it's totally whatever. It's just like Re:Zero is like a really like got a cool story. So when they devote a fucking movie to like what if they made snowmen, you're like, where's the cool story? Next we got Re:Zero, uh, Hyoketsu no Kizuna, which is a movie all about the female lead and like her backstory basically. Which I kept seeing comments on like Reddit and shit that was like, you gotta watch this movie before you watch season 2, and I was like, okay. So I did that. Um, Definitely glad I did. It definitely helps fill some gaps that like isn't explained in season 2. It also makes you appreciate that character a lot more, I think, because in season 1 she kind of exists just for the main guy to like get hard for. Um, like I know a lot of people that like don't like Re:Zero because the main guy is like such a horn dog. Like he's such a goddamn simp for the main girl. But moving on to season 2, which I gave 9 and 8 stars respectively. Although it's another situation where like it was one season, but they broke it up into 2 halves. Um, I give the first part an extra star. I don't. I think because the first part had the really cool episode that I won't spoil, but uh, people like flame Homeboy for like being such a simp. But then like if you watch season 2, I don't know how you can't like respect the fuck out of Subaru, the main guy, because it's just a season of him like being. There's a theme here. He's such a good fucking friend. He's so undeniably loyal to like a fault. Where like the plot of Re:Zero is that this guy is like a neat hikikomori in the main world, in like real Earth. He gets fucking smoked by a truck, dies, wakes up in Re:Zero Town, and then he, I think he gets murdered in like episode 1, and then he like wakes up again. Like he realizes he has the power he calls return by death, where every time he dies, he will like respawn at certain points, and he'll like, let's see what I can do differently this time. I hope I don't die. And like genuinely, like the traumatic shit he fucking goes through is like crazy. Um, like, but people don't want to boil it down to like, oh, the main guy wants to fuck the main girl, L plus ratio, and I'm like, come on, no, it's good, watch it. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into the lore because don't remember. We got Devilman Crybaby. I watched this one. We're getting the more recent stuff now. I watched this. I remember when it came out. This is 2018. Everyone was like, Devilman Crybaby is the fucking best. And I really watched this. I didn't watch it at the time for whatever reason, probably because I was being a contrarian. But I was like, oh, I'm finally going to watch it. I heard it's by Science Saru, which is the same company that did Don, which also came out and is coming up soon. And I gave it 5 stars because, and that's entirely because it's by Science Saru and it looks fucking like all the visuals are great, but as a story, couldn't give a fuck about a single character. They did nothing for me. I didn't care about the lore or like the plot twist at the end. I would not recommend this one at all, except for the visuals. Like if that's a big draw for you, then like go for it. But for me, that's not enough to like glaze it at the level that I like. It was like so popular that like people that didn't even watch anime were watching it. But yeah, I don't know. Next up on the list, we got Chainsaw Man. This came out a couple of years ago. This came out in 2022. And I've read the whole manga for this one. I remember really loving the manga. Like, this one's hard to describe because it's another, like, oh, I don't remember. And that sucks, especially when I do really like it. I'll just talk about things that I picked up because I can't describe the lore. I mean, the episode 1, there's this kid. He's like scarred the fuck up. He has a little dog that is also a chainsaw devil that he uses for jobs because he's like homeless. Because the plot is that like his dad treated him like shit, went into massive debt, and then like got and killed or whatever. And they were like, no, the debt's yours, kid. So he's like hunting demons with his chainsaw dog to like make enough money to like get out of his dad's debt that was like imposed on him. And then I forget why episode 1 shenanigans happen and he ends up like fusing with the dog. So then he has like a chainsaw pull cord, he pulls it, and then he becomes Chainsaw Man. and then he like joins the Devil Hunting Society or whatever the fuck it's called, and like helps them beat up Demon. But because he had such a fucking twisted childhood, he is driven by things like lust, where like his teammate Power is like she's like a devil also, and she's like, you humans are so foolish. But I do kind of understand the concept of love now that I have this cat Meowie. Although Meowie got kidnapped, and he's like, he gets incentivized to help her save her cat because she's like, I'll let you touch my breasts, and he's like, oh, wooga, steam coming out of ears, like, let's do this. Um, he also like he joins the Devil Hunting Society or whatever the fuck it's called, and like the main leader lady's this like aloof, sexy chick called Makima, and he's like head over heels in love with her. He doesn't understand why, but he's like, I mean, I really want to touch Miss Makima's, but like I'll touch Powers just because I'm like so blinded by lust because I'm an idiot. Um, and like there were some scenes that I didn't remember when I read the manga. Like there's a character called Kobeni who all the memes are of her being this like useless crybaby girl, and there's a scene where she like locks the fuck in and like kills a bunch of people with like a gun, like but like she's doing John Wick shit, and I was like, this is awesome. I don't remember this at all. And then like later there's a scene. I remember when I read the manga, uh, where like I didn't know like what Makima's vibe was, but watching the anime, it's so fucking obvious that she's evil. She's like comically evil based on like the just like the vibes she radiates and like the scenes she's in, especially at the end when there's like clearly like, oh, that's an evil act. But like because I read the manga years ago, I like you know, in one ear out the other. Don't remember, but watching it now was really cool. And I gave it 9 stars because it's just like got it. Like I remember people bitching that like it looked like shit, and there's some scenes where like there's a CGI Chainsaw Man standing there like, and that looks goofy. But when he's like in motion, like sawing up demons and shit, it's fucking awesome. And what more do you want from an action series than good fucking action? Not to say that the plot is bad, because it definitely isn't. It's great. I'm just dumb as shit and can't tell it to you. Then next on the list, two goats back to back, man. We got Dandadan. And this is like Loki. By Loki, I mean I won't never not talk about it when it's brought up. It's like one of my favorite manga I've ever read. It's, excuse me. It's this action series kind of where it's like there's this boy, he's getting bullied. This chick sees him getting bullied. She like intervenes, like leave him the fuck alone. They start talking, and then he's like, "Oh, I believe in like ghosts and no, not ghosts. I believe in aliens and like cryptids and shit." And she's like, "That's fucking stupid. You're an idiot." And he's like, "What the hell? I thought you were trying to be my friend." And she's like, "Fuck off." And then she like walks away, but she starts to feel bad. So then she comes back, and then she's like, "Look, okay, I don't believe in ghosts and shit, but I do believe in it." No, fuck, I fucked it up again. She's like, "I don't believe in aliens and shit, but my grandma is a spirit medium, so like I believe in ghosts." And he laughs in her face. He's like, "Ghosts aren't fucking real." And she's like, "What the hell, man? I'm trying to find common ground." And they start fighting. Excuse me. And then they both agree. He's like, "Okay, I'll go someplace that's haunted. You'll go someplace where like alien abductions have taken place." And then, holy shit, they both actually happen. And then the series from then on is them like fighting off aliens and ghosts with like supernatural abilities that they've gained from the experience they have in episode 1. And like manga wise, it's got some of the best art that I've ever read. um, Before this anime came out, I was like, I'm gonna read it again. Read it again, liked it even more the second time. Love this anime. The worst thing about it, I think, is probably that episode 3 was boring. It was like just all exposition, which like you need sometimes, I guess. And then it ends on a really poor cliffhanger, which the next season is next June or next July, so like it's fine, it's right around the corner. But I think they should have just made it like a 26 episode season or something like that if that was their plan. Next on the list, we got Ranma One Half 2024 remake. Ranma is an older series made by Rumiko Takahashi, I think her name is. She's the lady for my. I know her because she did Inuyasha, which I think might be her like more popular work. Um, I never really watched Ranma. I know my cousins watched a few episodes while I was like in the room, but I was like, it's not Inuyasha. I don't give a fuck. This comes out, I watch it. I gave this one 7 stars. Um, the basic premise is that there's this boy. He like is a martial artist. Him and his dad fuck off to China. They fall in respectively into cursed ponds where whenever the dad gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a panda bear, and the kid, the main kid Ranma, he gets splashed by cold water. He turns into a lady. So then there's like they come back to Japan, and it's like Ranma, you're to be married to this random woman, this random also high schooler. Um, and he's like, I don't wanna, and the girl's like, I also don't want to, and they're like, tough shit. That's what we decided, and this is how it is. But then like, it's only 12 episodes, but I know by like episode 11 they are like low key in love, which I thought was very sudden based on the rest of what had happened. But the basic thing that happens every episode is like they get into conflict, and then they oh boy, Ron was dealing with martial artists. That's how they'll like fight or whatever. Like, but then like mid conflict he gets splashed with water, and they have to like hide girl Ranma or be like a gag that keeps happening instead of them being like Gairon was gone. Who's this random girl? Like they don't know it's the same person. And it's not like super funny, but like it was enjoyable enough. It's by I think Mappa did this. No, Mappa. No. Fuck. What's the other one? Oh shit. It's who? Wit Studio. I think it's Wit Studio. It's whoever's doing. Yeah, I think it's Wit Studio. It's whoever's doing the One Piece remake. I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong. Didn't look it up. But so like it's a beautiful show. The voice acting was pretty good. Although there was a character voiced by Damien Haas, who was a member of Smosh. So he would start talking like, "Oh, I'm Ryoji," and I'm like, "You're Damien from Smosh," like doing the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme. But yeah, wouldn't really recommend it or not. I don't get it a 7, which is like pretty good, but like take it or leave it. The next thing I watched was Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online 2, which is the second season of SAO Gun Gale Online, which is a spun off of the normal Sword Art Online, which is all about like a dude getting trapped in a video game in a fantasy land. This show is based off Sword Art Online Season 2, where after he gets out of the fantasy land, he's in a world, like a sci-fi world with guns and shit. And this is like, what if it was an anime about normal people just playing that game instead of like fucked up, awful shit happening to the main guy? And like season 1, I actually looked. I gave them both the same rating. I gave them both 7 stars. It's just a total junk food. Like, whenever I watched an episode, I would be eating food, and it was perfect for that, just to like pass some time. Because it's not like incredibly well written or anything, but like it's fun to see the like crazy action shit they get up to in the game. But it's not as like it still doesn't have as good as action as like an actual battle shonen or something like that. But you know what? If you like, you know, like I said, yeah, I'm repeating myself. I'm in a time loop. It's totally whatever. Take it or leave it. Next thing, we got Look Back, which is a movie of a one-shot manga by the guy who does Chainsaw Man, Fujimoto. And I read this manga. I remember crying when I read the manga. I cried when I watched this movie. And I posted on my Instagram that I watched this. And I'm going to say something that I said then, which was, I have never watched an anime that is exactly like it is the manga, but somehow it is moving. Like, obviously anime is like the animated form of manga, but like they perfectly recreated the paneling for like the whole fucking thing. It was insane. It's a beautiful story about a girl becoming a manga artist, stopping becoming a manga artist, realizing that she's like a shell of her former self when she's not creating manga. So she gets back into it. She meets another girl. They like team up. I won't spoil it because this is something that you should actually absolutely watch. I don't know if I said I gave it 10 stars. This is unbelievably good. It is chef's kiss. Made me cry. If you want to cry, watch it. It's not that long. I think it was only 1 hour long. So like, holy shit. If this comes out on Blu-ray, I'm fucking buying that shit. I already have the manga. like up on my shelf, because he made this and he also did another one called Dear Airy. I think it's called Dear Airy. That one also made me fucking cry. Like, dude just knows how to cook. I need to read his other series, Fire Punch, because I know people also say that shit's goated, but I haven't. I've only read Chainsaw Man and the one-shots. Then, the last thing that I watched, I have to finish watching this today, but Susu no Frieren, which I think it's like Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I gave this one 10 stars. This anime came out last year, and a lot of people were talking about it. I looked it up. Like, I was seeing it on the manga app. I was like, this looks pretty cool. I read it. Chapter 1 makes me cry. I'm like, oh shit. I read chapter 2. Chapter 2 makes me fucking cry. I think there was a good while where, like, 4 or 5 chapters straight, I'm just like, ooh, and I'm reading it, like, on my lunch break at work. And then, like, I read the manga all this year, so then I was like, cool, I know the anime's there too, I gotta check that shit out. So I watched that, and it just reinforced. I watched episode 1, I'm crying. I watched episode 2, I'm crying. And then episode 3 has just, like, the most unbelievable action scene with magic. I realize I haven't said what it's about. So, like, the main lady is this elf called Frieren. She gets recruited by the party of heroes to take down the Demon King. And then they take down the Demon King, and it flash forwards to, like, she's an elf, so she lives a really long time. But the other party members is a dwarf, who do live long, but not as long as elves, and then 2 humans. And it's heavily implied that Himmel, the hero, the leader of the party, is in love with Frieren. And I mean, who can blame him? Holy shit, look at her. Oh. And she is an elf. She's not very good at, like, reading humans and their emotions. She's kind of, like, very stoic or, like, blank face, and she doesn't understand the reason why humans or the other races are doing the things that they do. She's like, she thinks it's all pointless because she lives so long that she's like, well, I'll just move on. I'll live past this event. And, like, it's called Beyond Journey's End because Himmel, the hero, passes away, and then there's a scene of Frieren at the funeral, and she's getting chastised by other people because she, like, looks like she couldn't care less. And then the other 2 heroes, the dwarf Hyson and the priest Hyder, are like start like trolling the other people at the funeral, like, hey, we don't care either. We were his boys, and like everyone gets up in arms. And then Frieren starts to cry. She starts to bawl because she realizes that, like, they're all right. She doesn't care, but she wishes she does because she, like, Himmel was like her best friend. Like, she was a member of the party. And then she's like, she's like, she should have been there. Like, after they beat the Demon King, she fucked off. She left. Like, they all went their separate ways, and she realizes, like, human lives are gone in the blink of an eye, and I didn't appreciate him while he was here, and that's a problem. And I wish I understood human emotions more than I do, but I don't. And then we flash forward even after that, and she's visiting Hyder, and then Hyder has a little girl with him that was orphaned, and he's like, hey, Frieren, you're a mage, you should teach this little girl magic. And she's like, nah, I'm good. He does convince her. She's like, Hyder, the little girl Fern, is like, Hater is getting old. Before he dies, I just want to do this one thing I said I would. I know it would make him so happy. Please teach me magic. Teaches her magic. Ends up doing the thing that she set out to do. Hyder passes away. It's very sad. This is a scene I was crying at about Frieren and Fern. And then later on in the series, like, maybe, well, first of all, then they, like, for Fern, now a little more grown up, she's a teenager. Frieren, they begin a journey. They go visit Hyson, who's like talking to Frieren, and then Frieren's like, man, like, I wish I had more time with Himmel. And then they basically reveal that, like, they could, like, get access to some magic that would, like, let her talk to Himmel one more time, but it's locked up in the Demon King's castle, and that they defeated the Demon King is, like, sealed away. So she's like, well, Fern, we're gonna retrace the steps of the adventure to see if this helps me understand humans more. And so, like, we'll make our way to the Demon King's castle so we can do this, so that the dwarf is like, come on, Frieren, you gotta talk to Hilma one more time, and she's like, okay, for you, I'll do it. I'm like, she obviously low-key wants to as well. And then episode 4, yeah, like, okay, so first of all, Frieren is a very slow burn, and it's character focused, which I love. But I know some people are like action, action, action. Come on, I don't like. In my opinion, I don't know how you could watch episode 1, not fucking cry your eyes out, and be like, I gotta see where this goes. But I know for some people, if they thought episode 1 and maybe 2 were boring, that like I would like implore them to watch episode 3, because that's where a fucking incredible action sequence is, beautifully animated is. And if you don't give a fuck by then, I hope you get hit by a bus, because like fuck off and die. This show is incredible. This manga is incredible. I wish I could read it again for the first time, even though I only read it this year. But yeah, there's a scene in episode 4 where they recruit Heisen's disciple Stark, and this is all a ruse. I don't think it's just art. I'm deeply in love with Frieren. There's the English voice actor for Frieren needs to chill out. There's a scene where she pats Stark on the back, and she's like, well, now, you gave us quite the show. And I was milk jug exploding gif, because I was like, oh my god, this is I need to replay that line again and again and again. Anyway, I'm trolling, I'm joking. But after that, after they recruit Stark, and I clean up the milk jug gif, they go on, they end up at a place where they encounter demons. Now, demons in Frieren basically function like mimics, where like they have evolved to take human shape because that helps them decimate and kill humans. They look human, but they do not understand emotions and feelings. Now, this is where the parallel comes in, where you're like, oh, that sounds just like Frieren. And Frieren fucking hates demons. She's called Frieren the Slayer because she killed so many goddamn demons in the war against the Demon King. And I think it's like such a good writing. I saw like a month or two ago, I saw people like bitching about the demons, and I'm like, oh my god, you don't fucking get it, because it's a parallel with Frieren, where like she sees herself in the demons, where she doesn't fully understand the emotions that she should be feeling like humans do, and demons pretend to have those same emotions, and that makes her so goddamn mad, because she sees herself in the demons, but she's not like the demons. She can never be like those fucking demons. And like, it's just like unbelievably chef's kiss. Can't recommend this one enough. I feel a bit like I'm like, oh, this one's a 10, this one's a 10, this one's a 10. It was really only like 4 things, but like, if you've watched this whole video, you should watch the things I gave 10s. Not to like toot my own horn, but like to toot those things horns. All the things I gave 10, Donadon, Frieren, Look Back, and what the fuck else did I give it 10? Oh, Makine. Oh, Place for the Living. Like, it's all just beautiful storytelling. Some has incredible action. Like, I just like what I like. Yeah, that's right. I am the arbiter of what's good. I really implore you to check out the things I gave 10s, but like, that was the last thing I watched. I finished watching it today, and then I was like, I think it would be cool to end with talking about Frieren, because I love it so much, instead of being like, and then I watched this piece of shit Goblin Slayer season 2, fuck my life, oh my god. Not that that wouldn't be like entertaining, but I really, man, I love Frieren. That's what I have to say. Am I a lef? Okay, well, that's the end of the video. I think realizing now that I've made 2 of these, I'm not gonna do them in 6-month increments anymore, because I watch a lot of fucking anime. So I think instead what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna try and do one once a month at the end of the month, and be like, this is what I watched a month. That's a tall task for me, because I lack motivation to like sit down and do videos, but I really want to do that. So if I don't do it, please come to my house and beat me with bricks and hammers. Like, I'm again, I don't know how to end videos, but like, that's the end of this one. I hope to see you at the end of next month, where I'll do a video and I won't destroy my vocal cords / voice / veins. Okay. Like, comment, and subscribe, XD. Bye-bye.